31 Minecraft things that don't work as expected. Minecraft has a lot of quirks and features that are just plain weird, and while most of those add to the charm, there are some bits and pieces that don't work as they maybe should. So today, let's look at these peculiarities in a different light and see what maybe could have been. And hey, the YouTube snow golem bet me that it's impossible to subscribe to the channel before it kills this blaze. So to prove them wrong, check a snowball, that red sub button down below. It's free, and it helps out a ton. Number 1. If you've looked at various different meme concepts and thumbnails, then you've probably been led to believe that a stonecutter deals damage. But as you can see when we stand on top, that just isn't so. And admittedly, that seems a bit weird. This was added in around the same time as the campfire, which actually does deal damage when you stand on top. And honestly, this might be pretty cool if we were able to use this to kill off different mobs. And it would definitely be a good lesson in workplace safety. Number 2. In Minecraft, fire safety is a pretty simple concept. If you got something hot, you don't want to put things that are flammable next to it. However, that's not always the case. See, with the magma block, even though the name might make you think that it is made of lava, or rather magma, it doesn't ignite any other blocks around it. In fairness, I guess it doesn't set you on fire when you stand on top of it, but that's weird too. Who knows, maybe the wood blocks around it are just holding shift so they don't take damage anyway. Number 3. So you go over to craft yourself a new set of iron tools, but in your hubris, you accidentally make a second pickaxe, so you put it in the furnace. Except regardless of the state that the pickaxe is in, you'll always get 1 nugget back in return. That seems pretty cheap, and instead, it might make sense that the amount of nuggets that you get from smelting an item is based off the item's quality. Because you can't tell me that all of that iron just smelts down into 1 single nugget. It's just not possible. Number 4. You see, the pistons in Java Edition cannot move tile entities. This means chests, furnaces, and the like. Now in Bedrock, this works just fine. They're pushing chests like crazy over there. But for us in the Java Edition, no luck. And sure, while we have things like Carpet Mod that allows us to tweak this in our game to play around with it, I'd much rather just have this as a base feature. So I'd say give this limit a rest and just let me push a chest. And furnaces too, that would be great. Number 5. The Frostwalker enchantment has quite a bit of power. And if you got Frostwalker 2 on hand, then you can tame some of the biggest oceans and put them in your control. And while that's all well and good, don't expect to show that same kind of dominion on a waterlogged slab. Because sure enough, even though these things have water in them, it's in the name, you're not able to frostwalk them. Now from a game design point of view, I can see why this happens. But folks, I think it would be pretty cool to see some ice stairs. At the very least, it's worth playing around with. Number 6. Now, one of the cool features in Minecraft is that if you throw an instant health potion on a zombie, it actually hurts them instead of heals them. And vice versa for an instant damage potion. But following that train of logic, wouldn't it make sense if regeneration instead worked as poison on undead mobs? And for better or worse, this would somewhat make witches into healers when they throw out their poison potions. And it would definitely add some stress the next time you see a team synergy in the dark. Number 7. Minecraft has been around for a while, so as that goes, many features have been added in and then just sort of forgotten. And chief among those has to be the furnace minecart trains. As you can see, they can't go around corners, they can't go up or down, or even change directions without disconnecting. Honestly, I'm amazed it's still in the game. While I doubt that Mojang will ever take a look back into the old piece of code this is lying in, until that happens, I guess we'll just have to keep up the hype train. Number 8. Anyone who's ever got stuck in a cobweb knows that these things are an absolute pain to go through. And not just for us, but for most entities in the game. Except, of course, projectiles. Yeah, for some reason, arrows and such are able to go through these things without fail. But I guess if you look at the bright side, it does make cave spiders a lot easier to take out with a bow and arrow. And for that part, I'm thankful, even if the logic and reasoning isn't there. Number 9. Now, if you've ever been outside in a winter wonderland, then you definitely know that snow is pretty good at falling from the sky. That is, unless you put it in a layer, in which case, I guess it's never gonna fall at all. Now, this is another case where Java Edition is actually different to the Bedrock counterpart. You see there, snow layers actually do fall when they're affected by gravity. And when you see how it works there, it makes sense. And it would look a whole lot nicer than just floating snow in the sky. Trust me. Number 10. Over the course of Minecraft's history, it was made so that hay bales could actually dampen your fall damage. But that being said, hay isn't the only soft block we got in Minecraft, which is why it's weird that other blocks such as sponge, snow, and wool don't dampen your fall damage. I mean, if you're giving me the option, I'd much rather fall on a block of snow or wool than anything to do with wheat. The sound effects for these blocks already sound so much softer than other options. I think it's just a natural evolution of the game. Number 11. I know we don't like to talk about it, but if you actually crunch the numbers, Minecraft is ripping you off. If you look at it, it takes 6 planks to craft 4 stairs, even though a stair is 3/4 of a block. Where the extra parts go, I just don't know. I guess Steve is a bit of a wasteful person. And while again, the stonecutter does dampen this blow, that's not an option for any wood items. And folks, there's nothing I like less than getting stolen out of my hard-earned materials. Number 12. Now, one of the many different features for a dispenser is that it's able to place pumpkins. Granted, the intended use here is that it's supposed to make a snow golem, but using a trick like this, we can just have it straight up place the pumpkin. Which is cool, but it begs the question, why can't it place other blocks? Something makes me feel like the dispenser's being held back by Mojang. So, for the time being, I guess I'll just have to live with pumpkins getting placed automatically. Oh, and shulker boxes, those work too. Number 13. When the 1.14 update rolled around, Mojang added in a chunk of different workstations. But now there were a few updates past that, it turns out that the fletching table is still the only table that doesn't have a purpose. I mean, you can use it to employ the villagers, so I guess they can use it, but we can't. I don't know why we don't make the new potion variants of arrows in this actual block. And that seems like a weird missed opportunity, at least until Mojang or the community can figure out what the heck this is supposed to do. Number 14. As time has gone on, nether bricks have gotten more and more variations to play around with, which is good, it helps break up the monotony. But while that makes sense, I can't for the life of me find out why a cracked nether brick doesn't actually appear in a nether fortress. I mean, these places, much like strongholds, are pretty run down. Engaging by the fact that we have to smelt nether bricks to actually make these, clearly heat is the defining feature, and there's nowhere you're gonna find more heat than in the nether. Number 15. Composters in and of themselves are kind of a ripoff. I mean, to put in all this plain material and just get one bone meal, it seems like a raw deal. But while that's a different discussion for another day, what's actually weirder is that you can't compost bamboo. Now folks, in real life, bamboo can absolutely be composted. It's a natural fiber. But here, no chance. It's just panda food. So if you want to make your bamboo farm into something to get you bone meal, you're out of luck. Number 16. Now, if you've ever taken a visit over to the end, then you know that Obsidian and the Ender Dragon get along just great. But while that's all well and good, it doesn't quite make sense that an Ender chest, which is literally a chest made of obsidian, is able to be broken by the Ender Dragon. I mean, everywhere else you place that block, it's rock solid. But as soon as you place it in the actual Ender dimension, nah, no luck. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. Number 17. When it comes time to take on the dragon, me and my friends like to do it together as a bit of an event. So we go to the end dimension, take down the dragon, and then boom, whoever lands the last hit is the only person to get the achievement. There's other achievements in the game that don't require you to be the sole person to do it. But all of a sudden, when it comes down to killing the dragon, nope, it's just whoever got the last hit. And really, it would be better to see this group effort regarded as such, instead of an every player for themselves mentality. Number 18. So, Minecraft has its fair share of prickly blocks. Now, when you're starting out, this makes sense, but when I got a full case of netherite armor on my body, I don't get why I'm still getting hit by thorns. Granted, I don't think the barrier here should be just as simple as wearing armor. For example, if I'm wearing a leather helmet, I should still get poked on the rest of my body. But if I've got diamonds on my chest, legs, and boots, I don't know why I'm getting hit as much. And it would make traveling through these forest biomes a whole lot less of a pain. Number 19. Loyalty as a concept is a really cool enchantment for a trident, but I guess it turns out that the trident is only so loyal. Because as you can see, when you throw it in the end void, no, the thing's never coming back. You lost it. Now look, I get why I'm not able to come back from the end void, but a magically enchanted trident, I'd at least expect it to put up a fight. But as it stands, this just makes tridents a whole lot less worthwhile when you're going around the end islands. And for that point, I'd rather just leave it in my overworld. Number 20. Now folks, it's news to no one that lava is hot. Except of course, if it's just a few drips of lava. Because according to Minecraft, those are completely fine. Now I get it, these are particle effects, they're really not meant to do much. But based on my limited time spent in school, lava hurts, and if you get it on you, it's gonna do some amount of damage. And while this might be more of a pain to add to Minecraft than necessary, it would be a good wake-up call when you're mining to be careful where you tread if you got lava drips burning into your scalp. Number 21. Dispensers in Minecraft are able to do a lot of the same capabilities that we can do with a right click. And while this means that they can literally place and refill water buckets at their own notice, if they're next to a cauldron, they're not actually able to fill them. Honestly, I don't know how this hasn't been added in. The way it is, it just seems like we're limiting this feature for really no one's benefit. It's not game breaking, it would just be kind of cool. And it could definitely add some fun machinery to your next potion farm. Number 22. As you can plainly see, even if you've got a cauldron filled up to the brim with water, it'll never break your fall. Which, if that was the case and you were only able to break your fall in full water source blocks, fine. So tell me, why am I able to fall on this chest or puddle and save my legs, but to fall into more water in this cauldron? No luck. So in the future, getting water cauldrons to be able to break our fall would be pretty sweet. And it would add a new happy addition to the MLG water bucket save family. Number 23. Anyone who's ever had to mess around with a bunch of different dyed blocks knows the pain of this one, because as much as we'd want to, we're not able to actually re-dye different dyed blocks. I've had way too many times where I've gone over to a crafting table, wanted to take my old dyed blocks and turn them into something I can actually use. But no, I'm not able to do that. And as someone who likes to mess around with a bunch of color in my bases, I would definitely love to see this get changed around in a future update. Number 24. A long-standing tradition of Minecraft is you can actually craft 9 of a different material into a bigger block. And for that reason, it's always a surprise to me that we can't do that with a nether wart block. Lord knows that I can take 9 of these and actually craft them into a nether wart block, so why can't I undo the process? Way too many times putting a nether wart block in a crafting table and getting surprised as to why I don't get my nether wart back. And I've got a feeling I'm not the only one who does that. Number 25. If you take the time to really study a shulker, then you can very clearly see that there's a shell 1 and a shell 2. So if that's the case, could someone tell me why I can only max drop 1? Because folks, the sad truth is that shulkers don't respawn, meaning that eventually your supply of shulkers is limited. So either give us a way to get renewable shulker shells in cities, or at the very least, just make them drop double the current amount. Number 26. Everyone who's ever played on an SMP knows that one person who never wants to sleep. And the problem with that is that phantoms will spawn, and they won't just spawn to go after the person with insomnia, but rather everyone on the server at night is gonna get hit by these mobs. That is a real pain in the brain, and it definitely isn't fair. And it makes how annoying phantoms are to deal with 10 times worse. Which, to be honest, is the last thing the phantoms need in the game. Number 27. Every now and then, Mojang will add in an item, but then it just flies under the radar because it doesn't get used. And for my money, I gotta say that one of those is rabbit stew. Because after all, if you take all of the different ingredients that it takes to make a rabbit stew and just eat them separately, it will fill up more hunger than the rabbit stew does altogether. So either Mojang needs to change it so that these stews have a bit more going for them, or they're just gonna stay at the bottom of the eating bin. Number 28. After using all of your sponge to dry out the area for a guardian farm, now you know that you gotta dry out the things. And for that, you got a couple of different options. You can put them in a furnace or warm places like the nether. And while that all makes sense, I don't quite get why it's the case that if I put a fire right next to a sponge, it's not gonna dry out. Look, these things are hot enough to light me on fire, and you're telling me they can't do the same to Patrick's best friend? That just doesn't make sense. Number 29. Chainmail armor has always been some illustrious item in Minecraft, because you can't craft it. But then, all of a sudden, Mojang goes ahead and adds actual chains into the game. But as far as I can see, even if you get your hand on a whole bunch of chain links, you're not going to be able to stitch them together into a chest plate. And for that reason alone, chainmail gets to stay as this white whale item that we only really get to use on PvP servers. And for those of us who mainly play in survival, I think that's kind of unfortunate. Number 30. Look, as much as I love andesite, diorite, and granite, they're only really useful for the building part of Minecraft. Because even though we classify these things as different stone variants, they're not actually able to be used for things like crafting stone tools. Or you know what's even worse than that? We can't craft stone tools out of actual clean stone. Look, Minecraft's got a lot of different stones, and I think that's great. And I would love a bit more variety in how I craft my early toolkit. Number 31. Banner patterns can be pretty neat when you put them to use in the loom. But as anyone who's ever played around with that item knows, it can be pretty easy to lose track. Because for some weird reason, even though these are visual items, they don't actually have a visual indicator on the sprite, meaning you have to hover over and see that it's a creeper face. Folks, it only takes one look at the different banner fix texture packs to see how cool this could be if we had a visual indicator. So for Mojang to do it, I think it's a no-brainer. And with that, folks, thanks for watching Swifty. Tweet me at Skip the Tweets, and have a good one, alright?